Hey everybody, welcome back to the Microburst 600 side-by-side build. Thanks for tuning in again, folks. Last episode we completed most of the machining work for this chain box backing plate. Now what I'd like to do this episode is to move over to the actual driveline components. So what I'm going to do is start working on the lathe and getting all these components turned up so I can start adding in the sprockets, the chain drive, all those couplers and everything. Start getting that mocked up into it. Alright, let's get at her. Okay, I have the PTO shaft set up in the lathe here. I just need to take about 2 or 3 thou off this thing so that it'll fit into the bearing. So I'll start turning this guy. Got the bearings pressed into this guy, and those PTO spline shafts are in. Just have everything kind of mocked up right now. Have the PTO couplers on there, and I just have a sprocket laying around, so I can just kind of throw that in. What I need to do next is cut the coupler and the shaft kind of to the size that I need. So this is much larger than what I require. So I'm going to take a few measurements to figure out where I need to cut this guy. So the coupler itself binds onto the shaft right about there. So that'll be kind of like the inside marker where that whole unit is going to kind of bottom out against the bearing. Then on the back side here, once I have that measurement, I can kind of figure out where the back side will be. I need to cut this bushing and weld it on to the right spot. This will be cut in half. But the idea is once I have the front kind of lined up, this will get welded on, and that'll prevent the PTO shaft from moving into the case. And then on the other side, I'll have a large bolt and washer retaining this coupler on so that it won't slide out. And that way there I'll be able to essentially bolt the whole unit together and prevent any kind of movement. Oh yeah, I'll take a couple measurements and then cut this on the bandsaw, back over to the lathe, just kind of clean it up, and yeah. Got a nice chip going there. Taking a 50 thou cut on this thing. Just facing those PTO shafts, get them nice and square, and then I'm going to come in with my drill and I'll tap that out for a 3/8 bolt. I always like starting the tap using the chuck on the lathe, and then once it really can't grip anymore, I just pop it out and put the handle on it, and then I'll just feed it in by hand. Starting it in the chuck there just lets me get this thing in nice and square, so that way there I'm not running in crooked threads. So I'm just going to finish this off by hand, and I'll have that PTO shaft tapped. I went with a 1/2 inch to 3/8. Just give it a little bit more meat. Alright, just wrapped up the lathe work on that PTO shaft. So I have it all cut to length now. Added a little chamfer there just to help slide that coupler on, and put that threaded hole in the end so I can put a nice big retaining washer on the end. Finished up the work on the coupler as well, so again just shortened that thing, put a nice big chamfer on it. So this is what it looks like over in the unit. See, I have that cut to the dimensions that I need. The chamfer that I added was really just to kind of direct oil into the bearings. I was worried that with it being, well, when it was larger, pretty much blocked that whole bearing access, so just wanted to be able to direct some oil into that. Alright, next thing up, I'm going to take this piece of pipe that I have, cut it in half. I'm going to turn that into a bushing that slides over this coupler, kind of like this. I'm just going to something like that, and that'll just give me that that backing surface that I need to kind of hold it into the bearings. So the whole piece, whenever it's all attached in there with the coupler, the big washer I'm going to add on one end is going to kind of clamp down and pull that nice and tight against the bearings. So that's what's going to hold the whole unit in place without it shifting around on me. Okay, just finished putting the weld on that guy. I just have it tacked right now in the middle on two sides. Once I cut this shaft down to size, it's going to get fully welded on the end. But yeah, I got that guy done there. Next up, I'm going to take these plates and I'm going to turn these things around. Those are going to be the flanges that attach the back side of these shafts, so I can connect the engine to the transmission to the chain box. So I just have to bore the center of these out and put the bolt holes in them and then turn it around. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to hop over onto the mill and start cutting those guys up. And then I can weld it onto the back side of these shafts here. Yeah, got a new welding helmet. My old one kind of kicked the can. Picked this guy up on sale at Canadian Tire. Not really into the skulls and flames. This one looked kind of cool. All the diagrams and stuff on there. Worked pretty good. Alright. Oh yeah, we just finished welding up those PTO shafts with the flanges. That guy's still steaming hot. Anyway, I think I got pretty good penetration. I'll flip one of these guys over here. There we go. There's the backside there. And I put that thing on maximum heat. Kept the wire feed nice and low. So hopefully got pretty good penetration on that. Went around the top there again. Alright, what I need to do now is come back onto, or put this thing back onto the lathe and just kind of clean up those bearing surfaces, because those top pieces of the pipe are going to be the surface that's riding and on the seal and sealing the oil into the unit. So throw that back on the lathe, and I'm going to surface the back side of this again, get that thing nice and flat so it runs true. And then I think I might have these things all finished up. Alright. Okay, we're turning that surface on the lathe, just taking a nice light 20 thou cut on that on the back side where the weld is. Just gonna get that nice and smooth. Just go nice and slow. Just took a first pass on the front of that surface, so you can see here how the heats warp that thing. So it's always good to machine this stuff nice and true after you weld it, because the heat always distorts this stuff. And then I'll have to come back in on the other side, get that all squared off, clean up that weld. Like I said, that bearing surface, that's gonna be kind of tricky to get in there again with the sandpaper, get it nice and smooth, but I'll figure it out. Alright, take one more cut on here, probably just a nice light 5 or 10 thou finish cut, and that'll be nice and true. Alright, cleaning up the backside there now. And here we are. Here's the finished shaft. Bearing surface cleaned up pretty good. See if I can just kind of spin it around here. Yeah, I like how that's turned out. I think I'll get a good seal on that. Surface the back side of this, the front side. Yeah, it turned out nice. Just gotta do the other one now. I'm gonna get the tripod, put the other camera on the tripod and just spin this for you guys so you can get a nice nice view head on. Just see this thing, how true this turns. Came out real nice, so shouldn't get any vibrations from this thing running it around. You can see that's turning nice and true. So like I said, shouldn't get any vibrations from that when it's in the machine running. When I'm at 6th gear, this engine turns around 14,000 RPM, so I'd have to look at the gear ratios again, but I think 6th gear is pretty much a 1-to-1 output. So yeah, I can hit like 14,000 RPM in 6th gear with this guy, so you want to get this thing running as true as possible so you don't get any vibrations, and I think I did a pretty good job here doing that. Alright, one more finish up and then we're done. Okay, look at this, folks. Starting to look like a real chain box here. I just threw those sprockets on. They're not welded or anything yet. I just wanted to see how things looked. And had some chain lying around, so threw that guy on, see what it would look like. Over here on the back side, finished machining all those the surfaces. They turned out real nice. Surfaces for the oil seals, real nice too. I have to get a plate welded on the back to hold the oil seals, so I still need to make those. But yeah, this is really looking good. This is really coming together. I am loving how this is looking. Getting real close to having this thing complete. Alright, I think this is a good stopping point for this episode. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next episode.